Hello folks, welcome back to the Drifter Network. We're back at it with the CRF110 rebuild, and today we are going to try to put on this rear shock, D&M rear shock, 250-pound rear spring on it with this little 1-inch extender. And if it goes well, we might also throw on our new BBR chain guide because the chain fell off at the track last weekend. So we'll see how we go. Never done this before. Let's get to it. All right, step one, we've got the plastics off, we've got the seat off. I just put the bolts back into where they go because some of them were different lengths. This one down here is the shortest one, so then you know, good way to keep everything organized. So we should be able to get in there now. I saw some people took their tank off. I'm gonna see if I can get away without doing it. As always, trying to find the quickest, easiest way here. So let's unbolt this shock, see what happens. All right, we are ready for action. We got the 14mm socket on this side, and this nut takes the 17mm. Just gonna crack them both, crack them at the top, crack them at the bottom, and slip it on out of there, hopefully. No, it's not too bad. There we go. There's the stock shock. Here's our D&M shock. So much bigger spring. We got a little adjustment here, and plus that shock extension should be just perfect. All right, so looking at them side by side, this has tons of adjustments. So for my height at 6'3", I'll probably crank it all the way up, play around with this a bit, but let's just get it in there first. All right, so we got it roughly lined up. I've heard that these, I think 2020 and newer models, you gotta take out a little bit of the frame, just shave a little bit of metal away. It doesn't seem to want to line up. So we got a 12mm socket. We're gonna pop off this gas tank and just kind of twist it off to the side and get a better look at that and see if we need to file down the metal just a bit to make that shock fit. Most people say you do have to do it. Some people have gotten away without it. Could be based on your model and where it was built, who knows, but we'll take the gas tank off. Okay, as anticipated, these two little pieces of metal need to be filed down. A lot of people use a Dremel or a grinder. We're doing it the Drifter way, so we're just gonna use a file. I've seen lots of other people do that, so just gonna do a little bit at a time, file them down just a little bit, and see if we can get that shock to squeeze in there. All right, here we go. All right, we tried this file. It wasn't great. Just not having like file teeth all the way up there. By the time I get in there, I can only kind of file just a little bit. Taking forever, so I borrowed this Milwaukee Dremel tool, and we're going to cut that frame out with this.
Don't forget your safety glasses, folks.
Okay, after much grinding and trying different tools, that's gonna line up nice for us, so we're good to go. On to the next. All right, that's what we're looking at with our shock extender. I've realized we need a washer for spacer on that. They didn't really tell you in some of the other videos I watched. So we're gonna get some washers for spacers, Loctite read this up, and put her back together, try it out. Okay folks, so I've got a washer on each side of this 1-inch shock extender. It was pretty loose and I did some research and I guess it may require some shims. So I squeezed in some washers nice and tight, put some thread lock on here. Welcome back to the Budget CRF110 rebuild. The last part of the video, I was finishing up the rear shock. I had to rush to the track, so I kind of just got it done. Everything's good. You can see it's really stiff. It doesn't squat right down like it used to. So now we're going to tackle the front suspension. Basically for today, we've got our BBR dampening rods and our BBR stiff springs, as well as some 20-weight fork oil. I was told that that's the good stuff if you want to make sure that you don't bottom out and hit big jumps. So I've never done this before. We're just going to take our time, figure it out along the way, and hopefully everything goes good. All right, so first things first, before we break anything off, we got to crack these bolts at the bottom of the forks. It's a 6mm Allen key. So I got it rigged up here. It's not pretty, but you'll want to crack them before you crack anything else, or it's going to be really hard to do. I've learned from everybody else's mistakes. There's two. No problem. Now those should come out no problem, and we'll be able to drain our oil out when the time comes. All right, that's nice and loose there now. All right, before we take out these fork tubes, we're going to take the tire off here. So we got a 14mm and a 17mm wrench to get this axle out here. We have the axle and the spacer out here, and we can just pop that off, put the tire aside, and now we can take our forks out. We got our 14mm socket. We're just going to crack it here and here. So the right fork has been successfully removed. We'll do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll drain the oil out and take all the parts out. See what comes next. At the other side here. Shock number 2. This is awesome. I'm pretty stoked. All right, folks, here it is. Guess we'll start with the left fork first. Doesn't really matter. It's all going to be done. There we go. So, at the top, got this spacer. No up and down, nope. And here comes the oil. Oh yeah. This is cool, folks. If I can do this in my driveway with just a Canadian Tire tool set, then you can do this too. Save yourself some money, and it's cool to learn, you know? Not have to rely on anybody else. All right, so that's that. We'll take the guts out of here. Looks like we got a washer, and we got the spring. All right, a little bit of figuring out, but we got the dampening rod out. There was a little tiny spring underneath. And now we got this out of the bottom here. All right, I think that's good. All right, so here's the stock dampening rod, and here's the BBR. You can see it's quite a bit longer. And there's the new spring, and that's the stock one. So you can see a lot more resistance here. It's gonna be great. A lot more shocks for the heavier riders on these little baby bikes. We will take our forks. We got the dampening rod, we got the washer, we got the spring, all in one assembly. And we'll just drop it in like this. Yeah, and then we'll take our spring. Just gonna recess here for a second. I guess we need to put our dampening rod bolt in. My hands are just so slicked up with hydraulic oil right now. We'll tighten this up. Just for now, nice little snug. All right, that looks pretty good. So we'll call that the right side done minus the oil. All right, so the forks are all put together. We just got to measure out 5.5 ounces of the 20 weight fork oil. I'm just using this kitchen measuring cup. Hopefully it's good to keep cooking with it afterwards. Don't tell my girlfriend I use this on my dirt bike. Fork number one. Hold it up like this, I guess, until we can screw it all in. We got our washer. We got our 5.5 ounces of 20 weight fork oil. Just like that. Oh yeah. Now we'll thread this on for the last time, hopefully. There she goes. Seal it up. Fork done. We'll repeat the process for the other one. Alrighty folks, here we go with fork number one. Tighten this one up just a little bit. All right, this is the last big step. Once I got this on, I'm pretty sure I've got it. Make sure the spacer is good to go. Axle. Slime over it, never hurt anybody. Probably some axle grease, but I think it's going to be okay. There she goes. All right, we'll clean that off just a bit. As you can see, it looks like everything's nicely in place. Yeah. Go ahead and stick on my 17 mil lock nut right here. Oh yeah, we got her now. A little bit of a mess, but we're not professionals. We're just getting the job done, learning the whole time. Now while I'm at it, I'm going to, now that the forks are in, I can torque up these bolts on the bottom, dampening rod bolts. Oh yeah. All right, folks, it's all put together. It's the moment of truth. We get to sit on it and see how we like our new shocks. Make sure it's all put together properly. Oh yeah, I can feel it's taller already. Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, that feels much better now. We just need to do the bars, hour meter, and rim locks. And that's going to be our budget build. That's all we're doing for now. No exhaust. Feels good. Got to adjust these brakes a bit, then I'll take her for a spin. So it happens when you're this low to the ground.